Come on. Come on. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Got it. Whew. That was a bit of an effort, but I think that is the last hose we need to get repaired and replaced back here on the air drill, and we should be good to be able to use this to get some cover crops in over winter, once autumn kicks in, once we've got the crops all off the ground, which is the plan. I'm just waiting for our help to arrive for the day. They've had to travel quite some distance, and the flight has been a little bit delayed, so I thought I'd take the chance, get the air-seeder in here and see if we could spend a bit of time and figure out what was wrong with it and get it fixed. Basically, it was a few hoses, lost some clamps, there was a few that had some rips in them or had split, and yeah, it wasn't hard to fix, but as we're learning, the previous person here working at the farm did not have much between the ears and really not much ambition or drive to try and do these things. So there we go. They just put it in the shed and said it was broken and leased a quad track instead. But that's history now, and we are here and we've got this all fixed up. So we'll be able to get those cover crops in come all our crops having been harvested. So there we go. I've also got some other plans. I'm going to try and get, because we're getting all these helpers come, I'm going to try and get a honours board put up on the wall here just so we can keep track who's been here to help us, and sort of as a little bit of a thank you to them. So anyhow, let's go and wait. Shouldn't be too far away, and we'll be able to introduce you to who we've got helping us out today. Howdy folks, welcome back to Ray County, and as we've said, we are just carrying on here with our corn harvest. Now, workers over there, and you can't actually see them because they're behind the trees, but if we just peel around the corner here, see the combine is up and running. Today, we have Nina helping us out. She has made the trip all the way over from her sheep farm in the UK to come over and experience a little bit of US style farming here. We're running a combine. We've got some other plans for the day as well. We'll just see how those all pan out. But here we are, getting into it. So this is the last cornfield. It's actually the last field we have here on the home block that we've got to get dealt with. The one got to get harvested. The rest of the crops are the two cornfields which are down the road, which we have to go and get into as well. But yeah, things are progressing well. Going very, very well. And I'm looking forward to getting these crops in and out. Now, we've made a few arrangements. I'll get to that soon, because the plan is, once we've finished this field, we're going to get in here and get these cornstalks baled up. I've managed to track down a baler. Turns out the dairy farmer just down the road, guy goes by the name of FSG, has a John Deere, I think it's a 435 round baler, so we've got that from him. He didn't have any way to load the bales though, so we've been in touch with the local feed barn, and they have a telehandler and a truck, or a trailer at least, that we can put on our semi that we'll be able to pick up the bales and load them with. So that's the plan. That is what we are going to do. In exchange for using the baler, I think the dairy farmer guy, FSG, he's going to borrow our combine. He needs a corn header. He doesn't have that for the old combine he's running. So he's going to come and have a loan of our combine. We're going to swap over. I think he gets the better part of the deal, really. But needs must, right? As long as the equipment does the job. Doesn't matter whether it's new or old. So that's the plan. That is what we're going to do. Nina is going to get this field opened up. Same settings we've used previously. We're not going to capture any swath on the headlands, so we'll just do it in the middle of the field, which should make it easier when we come to bale. So there we go. That's us all set up and underway. Let's get into it. Well, we're making pretty steady progress just as I squeeze my way between the plough, or subsoiler, ripper, whatever you want to call it, and those pipes. But you'll notice we've still got some corn sitting up there in the truck. Well, that's because our grain bin's full. So actually, I'm just going to back this out of the way because we're going to have to move the truck, relocate the auger, put the truck back in position, and we'll be able to unload. So if we just put this here, it should give us enough space, and then we'll move the auger, get that arm pulled out of there. Enough space to do that under the truck? Yeah, we should do. Right, let's get this sorted out. So there we go, we've got that all set up and moving now, which is good. Corn, you can see they're coming out the top of the auger. Everything's filling up and draining all at the same time, which is perfect. So we've, what are we, probably 2/3 of the way through the field, I would think, just looking at the time we're up to. It's taken a little bit longer. There's a lot of mucking around on the headlands. There's some really awkward little sections in this field, but once we've got the headlands done and onto the up and down rows, it's gone rather smoothly. So we're just going to go and carry on and get it finished. I probably won't show you any more of it. We're just going to get the corn cut and move on to some baling. I'm really keen getting these corn stalks and start getting them picked up. Well, here we go. This is it, our final pass on the home farm. Final crops that we need to get harvested for this year, which is exciting. Obviously, there's the other two cornfields which aren't here. We've got to go for a bit of a drive to get to those, but a bit of a milestone. For us. We turned up on these farms, kind of with the owner, the investors, in a bit of a panic, and I think so far we're doing all right by them. Ignore the fact there's only $8,000 in the bank account. Ignore the fact that there's huge lease or purchase costs, financing costs coming out for loans and vehicle equipment and things like those. We're going to have to figure out some ways to pay for a few things very, very soon. End of October is going to be a bit of a crunch for us. So I'm hoping we'll make a little bit of money off the cornstalks as well. Plan is I was going to try and sell some to FSG, to the dairy farmer, but as it's turned out, actually, because he's got his own corn, while he said it's a good idea initially and said there'll be people around who will buy it, he doesn't actually want any. So the deal we've brokered with the feedlot to borrow their trailer and telehandler is that they're going to buy all of the bales off us at a slightly reduced cost, about 10-15% I think we agreed, below market value. So we'll just have to go through and figure all that out. But there we go, that's us empty, I think. Is that? Yeah, that's all the corn there from Nina. She'll just get to the end of wherever it is she's heading and call things. There we go, job done, and get everything folded up. So we'll get her to bring the combine back up to the yard and we'll park it up there. Then I think we need to take the semi over to pick up the bale trailer, and we need to take the John Deere, the little John Deere, over to the dairy farm to pick up the baler, and then we'll be back over here and start baling some corn stalks. Looking forward to it. Alright, there we go. Get this put out of the way now. We're still going to need this, obviously, when we head over the way, so we'll just come and park it up here. We're not going to need this tractor for a wee while longer. But before we go any further, we need to go and turn the truck away. Actually, we don't need to turn the truck off. We need to get the truck all set up and ready to go. We need to get that trailer taken off. In fact, I guess we can leave it just there. We're going to need it for the other crops. Although, actually, we're going to have to take the truck down, so we'll not leave it there. That truck's going to have to come down. But look, we've got 97,000 litres in this bin. This one's full up, 243,000 litres. So we've pretty much got, what's that, 340,000 litres of corn, and capacity for about, 146,000 litres. So it'll be interesting to see what we get off the other field. I was keeping a running tally on what we've got so far. So let's just do some quick maths, but we basically had 205,000 litres off the other two fields, which must leave us with, what's that, the 97 and about 40,000, so 130 or so thousand off that field. It's not bad. Not bad at all. Right, let's get everything sorted out here, and then I'll be up in a minute with the combine. She'll be over here, and let's go and start doing some baling. Alright, well there we go, that's everything sorted. Nina's brought the combine back up. It's sitting up there ready to go over to the dairy farm for FSG to help him with his harvest. And we've got the tractor out now. I'm going to jump actually into the 7810 with Nina. We're going to head over to the dairy farm together. I'm going to help her get the baler all hooked up and things like that. And then she's going to come back and start doing some baling. Probably we might just start off in this field here right behind the yard. Might be the easiest one to get into to start with. And then when I come back with her, and I'll grab the truck and we'll go pick up the trailer and the telehandler. So jump up into here and get on our way. It's a bit funny to say this is actually the first time I've driven this tractor. A little bit funny, but we haven't been here for too long. Just been busy using some of the other equipment. In fact, haven't used the Ford yet either. Looking forward to getting into that. Just as we're driving though, one of the other things, I know we're talking about money all the time and how we're going to cover our costs and that. I think our expenses are about $60,000 a month. So we're just really going to have to make some decisions on where we find another $50,000, $55,000 at the end of October, whether it's selling some crops early. We'll see how much we get off these corn stalks. I suppose they could be a little bit of a saving grace, and maybe lessen the amount we have to get, but I'm really starting to think we can get the corn taken off these two fields that are over this way. They might be the best thing to get rid of. I know some people have suggested don't sell land because one, it takes a long time to get it back, but I think we need to be realistic about what's going to happen if we don't do that. But just the other thing, I've got a price to get soil sampling done on all the fields back at the home block. Right, here we are. This is the dairy farm entrance now. I said the baler's just behind the second shed. Go past the diesel Bowser, the diesel tank, and it should be tucked around the back there. He's headed out not that long ago, so just head on around this way. Just tucked in here somewhere, is it? Oh yeah, there it is. Just next to the old gleaner. It hasn't been used for a while, has it? Tractors in there and everything. What a mess that is. Right, we'll get this backed in here and hooked up. There we go, easy as. And it looks like all the hoses are all connected. So let's run on over back to the farm and we'll go and see what we can do. But as I was saying just before we got here, I've got some pricing for the soil sampling to get some testing done on all our ground back at the main yard, and it's come in at about $37,000. So that's another expense I would have liked to have had sorted out before winter, but maybe, I know it's a bit of a necessity, but maybe it's just something we're going to have to wait for and do after winter. I don't know. Right, car go. Right, let's get back on, get Nina set up and going, and we'll go and find this trailer and telehandler. Alright, here we go. First few cornstalks getting picked up. Let's have a look over our shoulder there. Look at that, there we go. Little wheels flicking them in, making sure we're picking up as much as we can. Cornstalks going up there into the baler, and bales are being made, which is fantastic. Now, we've set the baler to make 180 centimetre bales. I figured the bigger the bales, the less handling there is to do, so that was going to be the best solution there for that. So I think looks like everything's going to work out just perfectly here, so we're going to leave Nina to carry on with the baling. We're going to head on up, grab the truck and go and find the trailer, get the telehandler, get over here so we can start loading them out. I think we're carrying on straight down here. It's going to take us down towards the co-op, and I've left the trailer around behind the co-op somewhere for us, so we just need to make our way down here. Still learning my way around the district, being new to the area. Haven't really ventured out of the farm too much, but I think if we just take a left up in this way, should be the entry up in here into the co-op, and it was, I think they said around behind one of the sheds. Not sure which shed it was at all. Hang on, it looks like a trailer down that way. Let's see if we can spot it down there. So lots of different weigh bridges and samplers and things like that. Anhydrous. Maybe that's something we could look at doing in the future. But anyhow, there we go. Here is our trailer. It's like a Pitts trailer with a John Deere telehandler on the back there. Bale fork as well. Right, perfect. Get ourselves turned around down here. Quite a bit going on down this part of the co-op, isn't there? Lots of different spaces and places. Alright, let's get this trailer hooked up on the back of the truck, and we'll get back and get started with some loading. I think the way we were getting the cornstalks picked up there when we left Nina, it's not going to take long to get quite a few bales into that field. Alright, there we go. Let's roll out. Perfect size trailer, I think, for the farm as well. It's going to be good. Alright, well that's us back. Now we're just going to try and sneak out here into the field and see how Nina's getting on. Can't see her right at the moment. See she's down the... Oh, there we go. Can you see the baler down the bottom end of the field. Now I think, what are we going to be doing best? I know she started down there. I wonder if we go and park up down near the tree. Might be a good spot to park the trailer, get this all unloaded, and then also be a good spot to bring the bales to. We don't have someone to drive the truck around, so we're going to have to be kind of central. Somewhere we can start driving to. But gosh, So yeah, there's already half a dozen bales down there. Is there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? My goodness. Alright, well, I think, not very level just there. Might be able to make that work. Right, let's get ourselves unloaded, get this telehandler off the back, and we'll see how we go. Pretty dark tinted windows I've got in here. Right, that's us the arm up enough. Just carefully maneuver our way across here. Just do it on the downward slope. There we go. Alright, bounce our way off there. Now, let's just have a look around. We'll get those ramps folded back up because we are putting the bales up there on the trailer. There's Nina right up the front. Hopefully we're not on the way. No, she's got enough space to maneuver around there. Right, let's get these ramps folded back up. Let's go and find about getting some bales. Well, they're coming out thick and fast. Thank goodness we went for the biggest sizes. Right, let's just start off with one. I'm not sure if we're going to even be able to pick up two, but first bale just here. Get ourselves hopefully square onto it. Be able to pick it up. Those spikes driven right in. Right, let's go and have a look. Hopefully, the little ramp that's on the front of the trailer, we can use that as a little bit of a buffer. Get these stacked up on here. Let's have a look. Right, not quite in the right position for that one. Move over just a touch. Now, pull that in. Being a telehandler, we should be able to do it all from one side. Grab my controls. There we go. That gets that out. That down. And that's about right. There we go, that's not going anywhere yet. Alright, well, that's going to work. Let's set about it. Let's go and get some bales loaded up. Let's see if we can keep up with Nina or not. I'm doubting whether we're going to be able to with the rate those bales are coming out the back. Well, there we go. That's the first field cleared. Surprisingly, managed to get all but these two bales up onto the trailer, which I'm kind of impressed with. But I want to just have a quick tally up because I haven't even counted exactly what we've got on there. I'm hoping those 4 on the top of the front aren't too high, but we've got, what, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 across the bottom, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 across the top. So what's that, 26 bales? And they're 8,000 litres each. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I haven't even looked at time-saving stock check at the shop or anything like that to see what bales are worth. So it's going to be interesting. Right, we're just going to park this up here. As you see, Nina is all done with the first field. We'll send her off to go and do one of the other ones in just a second. And we're going to go get this sold, see what it's worth. Well, here we go. It would have been a nicer load if the bales didn't move around on their own once I'd had them strapped on and things like that, but I'm pretty happy with that. All in all, I'm feeling mildly optimistic that we might have a little bit of a gold mine here. 208,000 litres of Cornstalks must be worth something. Remember, we are paying 10% of whatever we earn off this back to the sell point, back to the co-op, because they have loaned us the trailer and the telehandler. So if we make 20 grand, we'll have to give them 2 grand. If we make 40 grand, we'll have to give them 4 grand. If we make $1,000, it's going to cost us $100. So I figured that was the fairest way to figure it out on a per bale basis. But anyhow, get back down to where we picked the trailer up from. I think the sell point, there's only one down there. It's the same one where you sell all your grain and everything like that. So get these unloaded. So here we are, moment of truth. Let's find out how much money we're going to make off these bales. Now, it took me a wee while to figure it out. We don't actually sell the bales down there at the trigger. You can see I've got the triggers turned on. There's the bale sell point just up here around the corner. So I'm going to try and get ourselves into the trigger so we can unload them all in one go and see exactly what sort of profit we will make off one trailer load. We will need to unstrap them, so let's just see whether we're in a close enough spot there. Let's just see if we're in the trigger or not. So $7,213. Get those unstrapped, all but one, and wow, we've only made just over 5 grand on those. Rats. Well, that's 5 grand more than we had before we started, but certainly not the profit I had been hoping for. Well, we'll take the money. Like I said, it's more than we had. About $195 per bale. Okay. Oh well, it's money, right? It's income. It's the first income we've actually made for the farm, which is a little bit of a milestone for us. It's kind of exciting, isn't it? Let's celebrate the wins and not look at it as a loss. Anyhow, Nina's carried on baling. She'll probably have most of the field done by the time we get back. So get ourselves back down to the farm. We're just going to carry on getting some more bales loaded up. Hopefully, I mean, if we can get 3 loads out, that's going to be 15 grand, and that's better than nothing, right? Let's go back and see what we end up with. Right, so here we are back at the field, and well, Nina's making good progress, as you would expect. Still a few rows left in here, and a whole lot more bales. What's that? 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 in here already, which is good. We might just go down if we park up sort of just next to these bales here, actually. That's probably not going to be a bad spot. It's nice and level and pretty central in the field. Stop about there. Right, we'll leave her to carry on, and we're going to go grab the telehandler, get back down here and carry on loading. Alright, a couple of bales that we already had from the other field. We get these ones put up here first, and positioned about in the centre. Let's have a look there. Right, that looks pretty good. Dump those both down there and get them unhooked off the prongs, and there we go. That's us back into it. So we'll grab these few bales, we'll just get them loaded up. Hopefully we end up with a truckload out of this one, and maybe a truckload and a bit out of the last field. Of course, the last one that we've harvested earlier today, that is our biggest field, so should hopefully give us a fair few cornstalk bales off it. Let's see. Anyhow, let's just carry on, get these all loaded up, and we'll get the fields all finished off. Well, there we go. We've got 2 more bales left here, and we're going to have a full truckload. So if we hadn't brought the 2 bales from the other field down here, we would have got an exactly full load out of this field. But that's not to worry. We'll take those 2 with us and go and start in the next one. Nina's obviously all finished up here, and obviously we are just about to. A few little frustrations you might have seen there in the time lapse, depending how much of that I had left in. Some of these bales just wanted to go walkabouts and ended up trying to work their way right down into the middle of the stack. So frustratingly, it ends up messier once I'm finished than what it was as I was going and stacking, but it's not too bad. Alright, I'll just get a strap up over that one, strap up over that one, I think. No strap there on the ramp, so I think that's us pretty much done. So we're going to grab these couple of bales. We'll get on our way down. Oh, there's another one there. Okay. We've actually got 3 bales. Right, well, maybe we'll bring the truck back over. Nah, it's not worth it. We'll run the telehandler up with a couple and maybe even see if we can stack 3 up and get them back that way. Alright, let's see if we put this one up on top of these 2. Will it stay in one spot, or is it going to push them apart? It surprised me with the way the bales are behaving if it does try and push them apart. Let's have a quick look. Drop that on top of there. No, I've stayed stacked up. Right, we should then be able to come in like this. There we go. And carry 3 at a time. Perfect. I was going to do that a little bit earlier, but realised we had 4 bales up this top end. Okay, well, let's get these over to the yard, and we'll get Nina moved down. She's going to head on into that last field, the one we harvested first. And then we'll go and get this next load sold, get another $5 grand into the bank account. Like, I'm happy when money's coming in. That is the main thing. And knowing that the next field's the biggest, and we've just taken a truckload off both of these fields, I reckon 1.5 truckloads is definitely doable. Whether we can stretch it to 2, I'm not quite sure. So here we go, we've got Nina set up and baling again in that 3rd field. So we'll head on down and get this lot sold. Exactly the same amount of bales we had last time, so should get exactly the same result, about 5.5 or so grand, but we'll get down there and just see what it is. Alright, here we go. Get those all unstrapped, all but 2 sold. We've ended up at $17,765 from $12,200, so pretty much bang on $5,500 per load. So it's money, right? That is the key thing. It's exactly what I said as we drove out of here last time, so put a smile on the face. Right, last field, let's go and get it done. Well, there we go, another load all strapped down. I took my time with that one, and it's actually looking a little bit neater, which is nice. Right, let's jump up into the truck, and we'll go and get this one sold next. Now, just as we head out, and we did have to dart over to the shop as well and pick up a little bit more bale wrap, a bit more net for the baler there, which wasn't ideal. Cost us $1,200, so we'll see. See if we can sell it back to FSG, although, I mean, the fact that we borrowed his tractor from him, or his bale wrapper from him, sorry, his baler, from him, and he gave it to us with it's full of net wrap, we should probably give it back to him in that same state as well. But anyhow, we'll worry about that later. Let's go down and get these ones sold. And here we go, get these ones unloaded and almost all sold. It's a little bit hard getting them right in, but another 5.5 grand. What are we going to end up on? Put those ones in. There we go. $21,500, right. Won't quite be a full load back there, I don't think, but we'll head back and get it loaded up and see what's left. Half a load? I'll take that. Well, it looks like Nina's finished. We've got 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 bales. 15 bales in. I'm just saying she's finished, but she's got one more pass to go. So maybe we'll end up with 16 bales, so we're not too bad. Right. Let's park that up there. We'll go and get this unloaded, or loaded up, sorry, and get these last lots sold. Well, there we are. We've got everything loaded up. There is one bale just left here in the baler, or a part bale. I can't remember if I've got unload part bales installed as a mod or not, so we will find out in just a second. We can dump this off here or not. We could fill up with some net just as we go past too. We've put that up on the back of the truck. Let's just have a look. Here we go, we do. There we go. We'll unload that one there and get that loaded up in just a second. We'll go get this parked up over in the yard because we're going to have to factor in the fact we've still got 2 more fields of corn to bale, or to harvest at least. I say bale, but we want to harvest them first. So there's still some more Cornstalks that we could look to collect off as well. It's not a huge money maker. It's not the money maker I was hoping it might be right at the start. We were talking 40,000, big money. Probably a bit more realistic, the money we have got out of it, than what we what I was thinking. But you can't blame me for dreaming, can you? Right, I'm just going to cut across the farmyard, or the back of the house yard there, and we're going to put the baler and tractor, just park it up in here, and we'll go and get the truck. Nina's going to come for a ride down to the sell point with us, so we'll go grab the truck. She's sitting over there waiting, and we'll go and get these ones sold and see how much we can make. Well, here we are, last load, lights on because it is starting to get a bit dark, and we'll get that one unloaded, and there we go. What's that? About $4,000 in there. So we've got $25,300. We started off on about 6, so not quite 20 grand made, but close to, which is fantastic. I'm pretty stoked to walk away with that. Actually looks like we just managed to sell our bale wrap too, did we? Is that taken up by the selling, I think? Whoops, we didn't really want to get rid of that. Oh well, we'll sort something out there for that. That was a little bit unexpected, but there we go. That is us all done. Like I said, it's starting to get dark here, lights fading, and we've pretty much finished everything up at the main farmyard now. Next task is going to be to come down, and I'm pretty sure harvest this field in here, one on our left and the one over next to it. Those are our 2 fields we have down here. Whoa, lights really just got turned out then. These are our 2 fields, so we'll be down here harvesting these next time with someone else giving us a hand. But firstly, huge thank you to Nina. Pleasure having you on the farm. Thanks for making the trip all the way over from the UK to help us out. It's very much appreciated. And to everyone else, thank you all very much for watching. Keep dropping those comments, offering to help. I'm looking forward to welcoming as many of you onto the farm as I can over the next few episodes. But as always, thank you all very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and we'll catch you in the next one.